It's not hard. It's just everything's costing so much money in Canada. It's a terrible country. It's too much libertarianism. Doug Ford, he's dreadful. He's the worst damn thing I've ever seen. Oh, he's taking down democracy. All of them are. You got a lot of YouTubers on here like JJ Mc. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I've lived in Canada since 19. Well, I'm a Canadian citizen, but I'm not going to be. My mother was Australian, and I think it's got a better democracy. I was there in 1986. Now, I was in horse racing, and I'd say horse racing's the thing. Here? Oh, hell, they're killing horses. But I don't live in Canada. The horse racing industry's gone down. I'm working with animal rights and justice, but it's gone down. They tell a lot of lies on YouTube and about horse racing. I think it's getting better because track stewards are cleaning up the job. American Pharaoh, he run on steroids. Come on, people. You went on steroids. And he's bitching in Churchill Downs about he can't get back. Well, stewards are getting tougher, but they don't like that. The American freedom movement, the libertarianism's coming into Canada. There's a bunch of men here in Collingwood, Ontario, ruining this town. And they got this attitude that is just against Canadian democracy, of the free market capitalist system that's ruining the world. Now, what am I talking about free market capitalism? The End of Growth. I think you should read it. The End of Growth. Am I against capitalism? I buy things. I like good quality. But things are starting to fall apart. I have to replace so many computers and so much junk. With the Keynesian economic system of nothing working. Let's talk about Australia. You finally elected a Labour Party. Are they socialist? What is socialism and what is capitalism? Well, far right parties have no intrinsic value except to get in power, is what Canada is. It's power in politics. And it's influenced by social media YouTubers like JJ McCoon. He doesn't know anything about Canadian history. Doesn't know a damn thing. But he talks, and Jordan Peterson, rubbish. Why Neil Young went off Spotify? He talked about it. The COVID deniers and the environmental deniers everywhere. Countries are seeing the result of carbon change. It started with Stephen Harper. He was bad for Canada. And it's never ended. We've had Diefenbaker. And you hit on boomers. Well, I used to work for a living. I didn't buy into debt. I did when I got married, and that was the worst thing I've ever done. You can't live on debt systems, and if you read Eisenberg's study, that's what it is. American debt system. So look at these glasses. American debt system is so bad right now. 31 or is it 37 trillion? Canada? I could say the Australian dollar isn't as high as Canada. But Canada's debt load is starting to fall in the American system. Am I against America? No, at one time it said, in God we trust, a foundation of ethical living. But then Ponzi schemers and hedge funders since 2008 that went down like that. Look at Michael Moore's film. Come on out. You're under arrest. Remember that? Eisenberg says in the book, he said, Marx got everything about capitalism right. but he got everything about communism wrong. I like that quote. And he's looking at this libertarian system, this free market capitalism of, I don't care about those people. I don't care about this town here. It's got a bunch of uh, people that say I sell houses at $1 million and up because nobody can afford to live here. Young people cannot afford to live here. There's a young couple trying to get a place to live. They need 7,000 down. What's going on in Canada? The American system's coming up here. America defended Australia at one time, and it was a good country. And I know an American that's in Oregon. He tells me, it's just gone garbage. And what was Trump? He was bailed out. He was a hedge funder. He was bailed out by Wall Street. I was on LinkedIn. I said, "Well, you got Donald Trump up there." Oh, it's Wall Street. What did Michael Moore say? Come on out. You're all under arrest. It was in 2008 prime rate lending. It screwed the world. So they flooded the markets across globalized economies. And it's gone crazy. I know some people don't like Helen Edwards in Australia, but she came in and showed me what's happened to Australia. Here's the truth. CIA files, everything. Just dump papers on me. It's Western Union flooding the Australian housing market, and it's caused so much harm. So, who is defending this? Scott, he was a libertarian liberal. They got rid of him. Might get better. But Sky News is, you read The Guardian on Sky News, it's just libertarianism. And they flooded the market with just junk money. And they raised the housing prices all over Australia. Globalization's good in some ways, but not this way. Democracy is not libertarian. Democracy is a capitalist system where everybody has enough. They attack the spirit level, a book written in Britain about egalitarianism. Like, how can you attack it? That store across the road sells coffee. If people do not have housing and do not have money, that's egalitarianism. It doesn't work. So democracy is an important factor in a country, not free markets. And I see a lot of women really depressed. And I'm on the side of women's rights. And these guys like Ben Shapiro, Joe Brogan, Jordan Peterson, they're not good to listen to. They're toxic. There's a lot of toxic stuff on there. There was a young woman there. She said, "I'm a mother. If it wasn't for my kids, I'd kill myself." You don't listen to that garbage. You're worthy to live. Women's equality's just gone all to hell with that Ben Shapiro with his Barbie doll craziness. He's an extreme right wing. And what is right wing? It's libertarian. Okay. I was wondering where this boomer hate's coming from. I found it. We're privileged. Boomers are 1955, no, 49, 47 to 64. There's a lot of us around. Let's talk about this. I was 12 years old in 1967, the summer of love. Did I do it? I was born in 1955. And I'm proud to be alive at 68, but I can't get house support, so I got to work. I'm building a business. The cost of living in Canada is so high, and we're letting libertarians monopolies take over, like our Wi-Fi and cellular. Australia doesn't have it as high as that. E-commerce is going to be the future, but they just let these companies start to raise the internet prices. So I studied life coaching. I'm a transformative life coach. I've been studying it and getting certified. That's what I want to do in Australia. I'm 68. The cost of living is high, but it's a democracy under the new Labour Party. I keep on looking at things, and I'd say build a business. I don't really believe you don't make that much money. It takes a long time to build up stocks and commodity market portfolios. It takes a long time for young people. They can make more at building an online business, getting into sales. I can't afford these stores here. This charger was busted. I just reordered it. Over there, it's a Staples, $150 for a charger. Amazon, $19. Quite a difference. So e-commerce is good. It might be a commodity. It's just gone crazy. You can't. These stores are so high priced. If we do anything right, is to do a hybrid of a grassroots economy of high tech and start making all energy grids that are working on solar voltaic, deep storage batteries, make changes in this country. I show you my hydro bill. They pay it. I overpaid it because I didn't have glasses. They owe me $900, and it just gets bigger. It's like an investment. But will I get it back? I got to talk to my lawyers. I hired Legal Shooks. Ontario legal system's terrible. The lawyers are on the take here in real estate. Kids stole a lot of money on me. I could say that's good or it's bad. I had too much stuff and they stole it, but it was computers and my means of production. I'll get that back. It'll go to Australia because I'm getting out. I don't want to live under Pierre Pawlowski. He's fractional reserve banking. Listen to him. He's fractional. Now, Trudeau, what he did wrong was put the pipeline through. He's divided Canada. Justin Trudeau, it's a neoliberal system. But he had Donald Trump pushing this and the NAFTA agreement. BC doesn't want that. Burnaby, BC, locked down and said, no, Kinder Morgan, goodbye. But no, he pushed it through. Justin, you can only serve one master. And you're serving two. And that's my kicker with the Liberals. They shouldn't have done that. His dad was a good Federalist. He was a damn good Federalist. I was in Ottawa in the 1970s going to college. I studied at Algonquin. And who did I study under? One of the greatest horsemen in Canadian history, Ian Miller. He was the head of that program. And I learned a lot. And I'll tell you something. When my mother sent me to an industrial psychologist, and I was really interested in this. You don't work well in groups. You're an independent man that learns things on his own. I've learned so much online courses. And I've just grown knowledge and tools. I had a young guy here. He was wandering around. I'm not against the young people. He didn't have a cell phone. He couldn't pay the plan. He couldn't play the data plan. He couldn't get his head together. He comes to me. I met him on the streets, and I'm learning that life coaching makes money. He paid me $100 bang on the barrel of it because I got his head together. He's a good guy, young man. He cares about his sister. She's got a bunch of kids in Hamilton. He's a great guy. But he's messed up. And he can't get his head together. This young guy here, he comes in and helps me, but he loses stuff. And I started reading Lovington. And I started hearing him on my piano. He's an ambient musician. He is damn good. He shouldn't be doing this work. It doesn't suit him. A lot of young people are very talented. Musicians. Do I like hip hop music? No, I hate it. But this is ambient, and he can have a polyphonic synthesizer, and that would really sound good. Now, I'm very open-minded. That is progressive friggin' music. And that's for now. These hip-hop groups are just low vibe, and I talked to Gene Kubo, British songwriter. It's a little Greg. It's low vibe. It's gangster crap. Good music has always been around. I've been hearing good progressions in music. I think she died. Stream music there. I go out and I meet young people. Have you heard this song? No. They pull out their phone and I show them. Why? Because I had a foundation in music and it's expanded, but it's not getting heard on social media, on these Stripe things. So he's from Hungary. He's a nice man, young man. He married a Canadian. We're sitting there, and the bar's guy playing this. Ugh, crap music. Excuse my language. And I toasted. It's a nice day. He says, yes, sir. It's a nice day. You're waiting on a woman. Yes, sir. Let's toast something. A beautiful day. And let's toast this music really sucks. And he raises his glass. He says, I don't want you here anymore. Good. You'll go under your sucky music. It sucks. It sucks. There's good music out there and you're not hearing it. Oh, you get out of here. This is a town with more. You haven't got any business sense, kid. Oh, I just want my crowd here. Yeah, your pot smoking crowd that doesn't listen to music. They don't even talk. They live on their iPhones. They live on their Androids. And they don't talk. They're isolated. I'm sitting in the bar and the young guy's there, and there's two pretty girls right beside him. We'd like to meet him. Would you? Well, I'm not going to tell him. Hey, buddy, put your phone away. It's not going to happen, my friend. Well, these two pretty girls don't going to happen either. What the hell's wrong with you? So he's sitting there drinking beer and saying, I'm an indigo. I'm highly sensitive. Well, that's good. That's good. But you're drinking beer on Prozac. Are you crazy? Well, it's indigo pills. It says Prozac, son. I'm really getting to the point of what the hell's going on in Canada. So I'm sitting in the bar and I'm reading confirmation because I want to make it in horse racing in Australia. My mother was an Australian Army nurse. God bless Australia for honoring World War II vets. The nurses of Australia that said, revenge the nurses, and they went to war. And the United States was a good country. It came in, and what I think happened in the United States is the atheists came in. In God we trust. I talked to a lot of Texan reverends and churches. My fundamentalist, well, I talked to men of God, and I think that's what's happened in the United States. There's a lot of libertarians that are taking religion out of the picture. Now, church and state are two separate things, right? I agree. Pierre Elliott Trudeau said that. Pierre Elliott Trudeau said the church, he really helped change the gay transgender movement. He did. He said we have no business in the place of the bedrooms of the world, of Canadians. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was a good man. but they run them down. Stephen Harper, Sea Shepherd came in. Let's talk about this. I hear a lot of rubbish on that. They were in territorial waters. He was using a system of influencing the Newfoundlanders because they had the cod moratorium. And that was because they didn't have a limit on cod stocks. They had a 50-mile limit, and trawlers came in, overfished the area. So Stephen Harper thought he'd take advantage of that and offer them to go out and slaughter seals on ice floes. Now, Sea Shepherd was out there, and a Coast Guard ran them. Oh, yeah, in international waters. There's a lot of rubbish on there. But think about it. What was going on? I'm an animal rights activist, and I know the European Union banned seals fur. And I'm not against Inuit and like that taking a seal and killing it and sacredly dividing it up. First Nations and Inuits and like that are sacred people. Don Cherry came out and he said, "You're a barbarian." He overspoke, and an Inuit woman said, "You calling me a barbarian, Donnie?" Don was right. No, Don's a good guy, but Donnie Cherry, I like him, but they kicked him out of Coach's Corner because he spoke in the woke people. I'll tell you something about Canada. I think it's becoming a republic of bananas. I don't mind immigrants coming in, but I sure don't like attacks on Mackenzie King's words. Think of this. He said, "You assimilate to our political system and you dress as a Canadian and become a Canadian." But they attacked it. They were attacking. Am I a racist? No, I'm not. I don't like racism. But attacking assimilation of coming into a country. I go to Australia, I'm going to have to follow Australian law and Australian values. That's assimilation. Is it assimilation when a copper comes up and he says, "What's your name?" "Oh, Moondoggy." "No, you're going to jail." Australian federal police. You do not lie to a police officer. So he had to take him to a counselor. And she said, "This is the law of Australia. You tell your name. You don't get mouthy. And you're welcome here to be an Australian. But you got to obey the law." This country, these guys here, not they're saying. I listened to it. He's a doctor, and I'm all for doctors trying to make change and get this COVID lying out of the system. Well, he said, "This would bother me, sir. I know people are dying of COVID right now. When I was in the hospital, 3 people died in 5 days. COVID, what the hell is that?" He says, "It bothers me. I'm just a young doctor." Well, I'm seeing doctors on here just giving up. It's fine to speak, but don't speak untruth and speak lies. COVID is not a conspiracy. It's a real illness. And there's been COVID variances. I'm trying to get my 4th vaccine because I believe in vaccination. I want to remind you, I came from 1955, April 12th. What is April 12th? The day they discovered the polio vaccine. And I'm still alive. There's nothing wrong with vaccines. The only thing an elder said here, and she's quite right, she says we got to get the food banks are not good for us. Open the can up there, he comes in and I get food bank food because Bill is sucking me dry financially. I bought an iPhone and I thought that it was going good. I had got to pay him for repairs, so I don't have to take it back. It's stuck. Every update goes, and I said I'm on the phone. No. You haven't paid the other one off. It's busted. It doesn't work. It's an iPhone 13. I think Apple's starting to go downhill. I'm starting to wonder if they're getting a phone. And he was supposed to come by and help me out. He's a nice guy. I said, you're in the wrong job. What do you mean? Well, you're losing stuff. I had to go and buy a cup. You throw them out. What do you do with this stuff? Why is my beard growing? Because you lost the chargers. You're all over the place. You're all over the place, but you get on that piano, and I know if you had a polyphonic synthesizer, you'd make some nice music, man. You're doing something and that's why I'm a life coach. Transformative. They get these stories that you can't be a musician. He's a nice guy. I like him, but he's mind hacked by the institutionalization of stuff. Now, there's a young woman in here, comes in. She's listening to me. Wow, you hit it. Libertarianism. What is that, Greg? I explained it. Free market capitalism. Who tells you this stuff? Audible's got a book out called The End of Growth. Listen to it. She calls me up, and she's in the bank, and I'm talking to her. She's 48, 9. She says, I wouldn't mind a boyfriend, but that Trudeau's got to go. What are you going to put in? Pierre Polo that's going to use fractional reserve banking and go like the United States? And who's talking? Guess who's talking? Sky News is a libertarian newspaper. Look up the British paper called The Guardian. It'll talk about it. Well, Scotty's gone, he was a libertarian. That was screwing Australia. So we got a new prime minister that's Labour Party. What do I think of the Labour Party? I think they're democratic. I think they're very democratic. And I think he may make change. And I'm thinking Australia doesn't have taboos. I was talking to a bartender last night. He loved Australia. He's working on a nudist colony. I said, boy, oh boy, the only dangerous person who come in there is Sid Vicious and the Sex Pistols. Anyways, he says it was quite an entertaining year. I'm a bartender, and I thought I'd go to Australia, and I was in Perth, and I was on the East Coast. Yeah, nice bars. You got a bar in Australia, it's not closed at 8 o'clock. It's all night long, man. I like partying. I love bars, and I love horse racing, and I love sport. And I love my Aussie friends. I just really think they're more open-minded. So my friend, I shouldn't mention her name. She's a musician and went to Australia. She's a bit of a feminist, and I like her. She's a young woman named Sarah Hammer McDougall, the Empress of the North. Well, listen to what she was saying there. I said, that's funny, Sarah. She said, damn, I like men in Speedos. You're a dirty girl. Her friends back in the Yukon said, Sarah's a very open-minded young woman, and she's a very talented musician. She studied up, as she said. She went to university in British Columbia and studied music for a long time. And she got in an apartment above a store in Yukon and just laid down tracks on Mac Pro and keyboard and guitars and microphone. She wrote a lot of music. I met her one night in a bar here. I didn't know her. We talked about songs. I love talking to songwriters. I really love talking to songwriters because I've been in the music industry when Lighthouse was up here. Lighthouse is a great band. They were, but I got a problem with drugs. He was doing LSD and he went over the top. You know who's living up here? You don't know the bands that are up here. I got Kim Mitchell just down the road. Why not go for a soda? Nobody hurts, nobody dies. I walked in there. That is the Cowboy Junkie sitting in the coffee shop. With, remember her? She was doing Sweet Jane, that Lou Reed song. Nobody has played that song as good as the Cowboy Junkies and Margot Timmons. I mean, that's incredible. And I can remember when I got married in 1990, we had a happy life. And I remember the music was the cornerstone of everything. Like Cowboy, the music was really good in Canada. It's been going crappy. Think about it. And what it was If I Had $1,000,000. We loved that song. I was really happy. And that was in Great Big Sea. And all those great bands from the East Coast. And that was Bare Naked Ladies. Those guys are great. And who else? Real Statics. I love them. Music was really progressive in Canada. I'm thinking back to the time John Lennon came to Canada. Came in. He was living with the Hawk in Ottawa area. Ronnie Hawkins. He admired him. He admired the Hawk. Ronnie Hawkins. He came up and saw him. Now, a guy in the bar said, "You know something?" And he was living with Ronnie Hawkins up there with Yoko. They saw John Lennon, saw Pierre Elliott Trudeau. He admired him. Pierre was sort of a federalist. He knew Fidel, but he's not a communist. He's a federalist. 1970, I was going to high school, and this guy's running down Trudeau. Why? Because he's breaking democracy. Well, you had to. You had to. He was killing. These FLQ were not federalists. They were dividing Canada up and wanting to have. Well, my cousin was a police officer in Toronto. He told me that. But 1960s, Fidel, who came in, that was Charles de Gaulle. Vive la France! And they had riots on the street. And FLQ started growing up, and they were capturing diplomats. That was dangerous. So he said, just watch me. He locked down democracy. He just closed it down with a War Measures Act. They thought it was wrong. But he cleared them out. The military came in and wiped them out. And I had a teacher saying, no, this is wrong. Is it? But I don't listen to everything. I got my own head. I was only grade 9. But I'd say you're wrong, sir. And I think he did the right thing. He kept Canada united. We haven't had much unity. We got a crazy woman out west named Danielle Smith. She wants to get rid of pensions. She wants to make Alberta a sovereign country. Well, let's talk about what's going on here. The sovereignty is when Joe Biden got in, he shut down the Keystone. Well, I cut off one leg of the Milk Cow Blues. They were rainy. And that was Jason Kenney, a progressive conservative. I was out in Alberta with Kenney. Do you know the Calgary police budget was cut? There's a drug war in Calgary. It's a really dangerous friggin' place to live, just like Toronto. This town is dangerous. I almost got mugged one night, just waiting for a pizza. It's dangerous as hell because there's so many drug addicts. Vancouver, dangerous. Vancouver Island, they moved in. It's just flooded with opioids. Do I hate them? No. But I hate it was a drug company who created the fentanyl opiate problem. They knew they'd get people addicted. So that's a libertarian system. That's free market. They didn't care about what it would do to the planet. You go out east, we don't want doctors out there. They've had enough with those opioids. Is it the doctor's fault? It's the free market system. Alberta did something right when I was out there. I think Rachel Notley and the NDP were running things right. We don't pay doctors by medication. That's what they told me. I was in the hospital. We do a drug study and we'll get you straight. He said, you got high blood pressure, sir. Thanks, doc. And I'll tell you, there's 30 drugs on the market. They don't all fit. He's right. I don't know how it's working with Daniel Smith. See, I was in the Canadian Green Party. I was working with Elizabeth May. And I had a bunch of Alberta girls out there, and I'm going to tell you, they're good girls. They want to stop this horse slaughter industry. Jan Arden does too. And they buy horses. They don't buy iPhones and argue with stupid boyfriends. Why do girls swear so much? Because they got these stupid boyfriends listening to garbage on there. Walking along and he's saying, they threw me out of the bar. I'm drunk. Yeah, you are, and your buddy's drunk. And he says, lithium batteries are going to blow up the world. Oh, okay. And he's saying the world's really a mess. What you're thinking is a mess. I think like Neil Young. I don't think like, and David Suzuki. I don't think like those guys. I'm all for younger people. This guy's not. He's got on his phone all the time. Carl Westport talked about this. We're in these phones everywhere. We have no solitude. She said, aren't you alone all the time? Yes, well, entrepreneurs live alone. She comes on and she says, you talk to yourself? Yeah, I do too. Why? To drown out those other stupid girls. Well, wear earphones. Really? She's listening. A young woman that gets off social media will do it. And I get young women saying, do you like girls? Why? Listen to these guys on here, Ben Shapiro, and oh my Lord, what is wrong with these guys? Hating women. And the Karens, all these attacks, and now they're attacking Filipinos. Oh Lord, they're crazy guys on here. Is it toilet training problems, boys? Were they tough on you, mama? What the hell's wrong with you? You don't like girls? Are you gay? But you hate gays. You hate homosexuals. You hate everything. But you don't like girls. You got problems. I'm going to attack you, young people young guys that are listening to this junk. Get off it and get your head together. Get off social media and start becoming a man. Start finding out who you are. There's a point in your life at age 28 to 30, 44. It's a period of learning who you are. Is what your yuppie parents tell you? Or is it what you are? You gotta remember the yuppies were the debt kids. They came out with MasterCard. Wasn't the boomers. Kid comes in here, he says, where'd you get that Fender Telecaster? I bought it. How? Credit card? No, cash. That's a US Telecaster. Yeah. He doesn't understand that we used to buy things right out because we could. We didn't have this money lending system. It came out, I think, in 1980s, and the education system was handing out credit cards. Gene Stern says, "Why don't you just print money?" Green Party of the United States, and bail out all the student debt. We can't do that. You can't. It's only $7 billion. It's a lot of money. We paid $13 billion to bail out those hedge funders and Ponzi schemes. She's right. She's right, but women aren't supposed to say anything. It just sucks. Canada sucks right now. It really sucks. If Paul Up gets in, listen to him. He's lying all the damn time, and he's just an attack dog. He's like Hitler. Some guys, young guy says, "I live in a cardboard box. I'm going to vote for Pierre Polyev." Oh. Well, that cardboard box might be expensive because he's still supporting fractional reserve American system that's falling. He's living in Costa Rica. He's a billionaire, and I listen to him. He's Canadian, but he might be a scammer, they said. Well, I don't think so. He's been buying into a lot of good systems. Gold and silver. There's a lot of Americans gone to Costa Rica. They're doing e-commerce. He's built companies up, and when the transitions were happening, he got out with $2 million the first transition. $2 billion. His company. And then he got into another thing, $5 billion. He builds companies. He started following Bob Proctor. Let's talk about business. Bob Proctor was in that book, The Secret. Bob Proctor said there's two elements you need: health and wealth. You're not free if you don't have money. And he built businesses. And what did he do? He started out in Toronto, and he took a company. Started doing janitorial services, novel offices, and he kept on building and growing them. And that's how he made money. You take a seed and grow it. Steve Jobs didn't have a university education. He just kept on learning. You know, where are we going here? My friend quit University of Toronto. Why? Well, Jane Jacobs wrote about it. Accolades. You're taking all these electives so you can work for somebody. Universities are meant to be schools of knowledge. That's the way they should be. And he quit. So what did he do? He had a backup. His dad taught him bricklaying. But he couldn't do it because he had a curvature of the spine. So I hired people. He was interested in the linguistics of language. Very smart man. But he couldn't take that university. It was just all these accolades. So he hired Portuguese workers, and he learned their language. He immersed himself. Then he learned German, and he hired different ones to go around building these little boxes on McDonald's. By the time he got through it, he went out to New Brunswick and bought land and got away from a stupid place. He likes his dogs to run around free. It's like me, an animal rights activist, and he doesn't like game wardens coming on the land. We'll shoot your dogs because we got to keep the deer stock up. I've had that. It's your own land, but they'll come on and say, "Well, just shoot your ducks." They got to keep the deer up for the hunters because it's profit. She's up in northern Ontario. She says, "I'm rescuing bears. The bear cubs are shot." And that was when, why would they do it? Because of profit. What's happened to Ontario was all industrial. It's not industrial. It's this town here. We had Magna International, Frank Stronach, it's gone. We had Goodyear, gone. They're all gone. Shipyard, gone. Why? Mediations. I talked on the phone for 2 hours to the Ontario Ombudsman. Nobody can mediate union or management. But Stephen Harper got rid of the mediation system. He just said no unions. Well, that really works well because I was on the tracks. I said the conductor is CP Rail coming back. No, he's coming back from Edmonton. I'm out in the middle of the prairies. Why can't we go ahead, boss? Oh, there's a CP Rail broke down. Is it broke down? I get into Melville. Yeah, Melville's and real statics thing about that. They're out in strike. Now, what are they striking for? Are they striking for more money? No, less hours. If they ain't wrong in Canada, no, they kept on promising jobs. Remember that? Jobs. Well, they're working 3 to 4 jobs to live. It's just an overinflated system. Jobs. This is it's power and politics and power and stupidity. Jobs. Let's talk about industrialism. He came out and he said 40-hour work week and time and a half for working over. I used to work in factories and I get time and a half. And I didn't work like that. You can't get time and a half for 4 jobs. It doesn't work. The system's screwed. I took a plane to Vancouver Island. She never talked to me because she's on her friggin' computer on Excel for 6 hours. Jobs. Work. You go into a coffee shop now, they got computers in there. They got their headphones on. They don't talk to anybody. What happens if the Wi-Fi breaks down? Might talk to somebody. What the hell sort of society have we got? I like e-commerce. So I read books and how many hours you're going to work on your computer. 2 hours a week would be a nice kicker. And have it all automated. So it's not jobs, kids. It's moderation. I don't even think businesses are working right. I look around and I see them crashing. The leadership roles are shot all the hell. We're insane. We're insane. The whole economic system's insane. So I read a lot on leadership. You talk about brainstorming. I'll tell you, I'm all for brainstorming. I love these ideas. And I was saying it, and it's crazy, like he says brainstorming's this. You're late for a job. What are we going to do about it? They dumb down things, and everything counts. It doesn't matter if it's negative or wrong. Just put it out there. Because don't put in duality on things. And you'll come up with some ideas. They said, why don't we electrocute them? Okay. See, you're coming up with ideas. You could get rid of it, but that's the way it works. Leadership has gone all the hell. There's a company came to me and they wanted me to save them. Save them. You got no infrastructure. Leadership. Nobody's listening to each other. And they're in trouble. I looked at their portfolio. I'm not working for you. I'm doing freelance, and I'll advise you. You got no infrastructure. You've got no leadership, and you're falling apart. You're into you're a cosmetic company in California, and you're just falling apart. I'm reading your profiles. That's why you're asking me to work on your team. No, I wouldn't work on your team. I'm an independent advisor, and if you don't want me, go away. That's the way I work. I believe in independent entrepreneurial business. I do not believe in working for people. You don't get anywhere. You're just getting more work and more stupidity. You can't put a number down on it. Canada needs entrepreneurs. E.P. Taylor was an entrepreneur. I studied him in college. He's the only guy that ever had any brains in Ontario. You know, E.P. Taylor, he had Woodbine. He had, it's a real estate fraud place now, but it was Winfield Farms. And it's Hall of Ground are great racehorses like Arvin Dancer, all those great horses. Just a little graveyard there surrounded by housing market projects. It's sick. It's sick as hell. Canada's just overconsumed its real estate. And they got into a story. Real estate is a commodity. Well, if you read the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it's a right. It's a right. Oh, Lord. That's what these guys are saying. He's a doctor and he's got to charge higher prices. He can't work in the public healthcare system. And he can't believe this guy's saying it's, and he's charging. People can't afford to live here. $3,000 for an apartment for a young couple? No, I care about that. They don't care. This is a libertarian. They're free markets. They don't care what they do. So where is this libertarianism or free market capitalism going to take them? If they can't afford businesses, you can't run a society like that with free market system. You have to have a democracy, and that doesn't fit the economic model. And democracy is to lock down and start reading the spirit level. But oh hell, they attacked it. Sky News. They attacked the spirit level. It's a British book on the level of egalitarian system that people can afford to buy a coffee at a coffee shop. But nobody can afford anything if you got guys charging $1 million and up and flipping houses. What the hell's that? It's the snake that's consuming itself, the free market system. So read the Eisenberg study called The End of Growth. Please read it. It's very eye-opening about what's happening. Free market capitalism is screwing us in the world. First chapter is called The Great Balloon Race, and it's really going on now. We're screwed if we don't wake up. Good day.